Lamine Yamal just signed a deal worth more than his parents will make in their entire lives, and it's mathematically structured to leave him broke. Not because he's reckless, not because he'll blow it on cars, because the contract itself is the trap, and almost nobody in his corner is incentivized to tell him that. Here's the number that should alarm you. The average elite professional athlete is financially distressed within 5 years of retirement. 5 years. After earning more in a decade than most families earn in 4 generations. And the athletes retiring broke today, they were the rich kids. The next generation, the Yamals, the 16-year-old prodigies signing now, they're walking into something far worse. But that's not even the strangest part. Their parents' generation actually built more durable wealth on smaller incomes. A modest salary, a pension, a paid-off house that compounds quietly into real security. A 50 million euros signing bonus, structured wrong, compounds into nothing. So how does this happen? It starts with a clause almost every young athlete signs without understanding. The image rights split. Clubs and sponsors carve off 20 to 40% of your commercial value into a separate entity. It sounds like a tax efficiency vehicle. It is actually a leash. That image rights company is often co-owned or co-managed by the agent, which means the agent has a direct financial interest in keeping you signed to deals that maximize commercial exposure, not deals that maximize your long-term net worth. Those are not the same thing. Then layer in the tax structure. Elite players in Spain, England, and France face marginal income tax rates above 45% on salary. Agents will often push complex offshore arrangements that feel like savings, but create legal exposure, reputational risk, and penalties that arrive years later, right when the income has stopped. Ronaldo paid 18.8 million euros in a Spanish tax settlement. Messi paid 2.1 million euros. Neymar faced criminal charges. These weren't stupid men. They were 19-year-olds who signed what their representatives handed them. Now think about what this means for a kid like Yamal who is 17. His peak earning window is maybe 12 years. Every structurally bad decision made now doesn't just cost him money once. It compounds that loss forward for decades. Here's the compounding math nobody shows them. If you lose 30% of a 10 million euro contract to avoidable agent fees, bad tax structure, and deferred payment clauses, that's 3 million euros gone today. Invested at a modest 7% annual return over 30 years, that 3 million euros becomes 22 million euros. You didn't lose 3 million euros. You lost 22 million euros. And deferred payment clauses are one of the dirtiest tricks in the game. Clubs love them. They pay you less now, more later, spreading liability off their balance sheet. But later is often after your peak tax years in a country you no longer live in, triggering double taxation events players never anticipated. The agent fee problem is structural. Standard representation fees run 5 to 10% of contract value. On a 100 million euro deal, that's up to 10 million euros, paid by the player, often to someone who also receives undisclosed fees from the club for facilitating the same deal. That is a direct conflict of interest. In most industries, it would be illegal. But the deepest wound isn't the fees. It's the financial illiteracy that gets weaponized. These kids grow up poor or working class. Suddenly, there's more money than their entire family has ever seen. The psychological pull to trust the suited professional in the room is overwhelming. Questioning it feels ungrateful. It feels paranoid. It is actually survival. The fix isn't complicated, but it requires someone in your corner who isn't also in the club's pocket. Independent financial advisors, fee-only, fiduciary, aren't sexy. They don't close deals. But they're the only professionals in this ecosystem legally required to put your interests first. The wealth that actually survives a generation isn't built in the peak earning years. It's built in the decisions made before the money arrives, the structures, the ownership, the boring index funds nobody wants to talk about at 17. Yamal's parents worked hard. They built something real on something small. Their son is about to earn more in a year than most countries spend on schools. The question is whether the people around him will let him keep it, or whether the machine will eat it quietly, one clause at a time. If you want to understand how money actually works, not how the people who profit from your confusion want you to think it works, subscribe. And tell me this, Should there be mandatory financial education before any athlete under 21 can sign a professional contract?